Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Raha Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who have taught us this truth and rule well. Peace and salutations to the chosen and the elect. Amari Azabat out of the GMS Dallas camp. And I'm going to entitle this lesson here, A Conference in the Heavens. All right. You know, the fables that we hear about when you speaking about evil spirits, one of the main fables is that Satan, and the angels, the evil angels, are in the sky, in the heavens, fighting against the Most High. Warring against the good, the angels, Yahweh Shai and the angels. Okay. And they just up there warring against each other, good versus evil. Okay. And again, that's far from the truth. I've learned that growing up. And then when you look at old biblical Bibles, they show pictures of little cupid white Edomite babies, okay, with arrows in their hands. And then you'll see photos of supposedly demons with wings, and they being stabbed with daggers and all of this stuff by angels, good angels and all of these things. Those are fables, okay? And this is what have our people messed up, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, who are the true Hebrew Israelites scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, all right? And that's a stronghold that's on you that come from the Christian church. That's why it's hard to wrap your spirit, your ears around what the truth, around the truth, okay? That's going out, because it's just hard to not believe that, man, all of this that I've learned growing up is a lie. And that's exactly what it is. So in order to prove your point, when you try to defend what you've been taught, in these Christian churches, it's gonna eliminate what you believe when we come out with this truth. What actually happens in the heavens, okay? And that the Holy Trinity, that has a lot to do with your thinking. That's a stronghold. That's a delusion. That Yahweh Shai, who you ignorant call Jesus Christ, he's everybody. Okay? He's the Father, the Son, he everybody. And there are accounts in the scriptures where that's far from the truth. All right? And I'm just going to go into the Book of Kings, get some precepts, kind of get an overview on 1 Kings, the 22nd chapter, dealing with Ahab. He was the king, a wicked king that was over Israel, Ephraim, okay? And then, you also had the southern kingdom, King Jehoshaphat, all right? Over the king of Yahweh, Judah, okay? And, this chapter here, it goes into, the judgment of Ahab. Because in 1 Kings, the 21st chapter, even going back the chapter before it, but when you go to 1 Kings, the 21st chapter, dealing with Jezebel, okay, his wife, all right, Ahab, wanted this his Israelite brother in land, okay, his vineyard, and he didn't want to sell it. As a matter of fact, let me get that real quick. His name was Naboth in verse 2, 1 Kings 21 verse 2, and Ahab spake unto Naboth, saying, give me thy vineyard, that I may have it for a garden of herbs, because it is near unto my house, and I will give thee for it a better vineyard than it. or if it seemed good to thee, I will give thee worth it in money. And Naboth said unto Ahab, Yahweh forbid it me that I should give the inheritance of my fathers unto thee. So this is King Ahab right here, okay? He wanted this this Israelite, Salakia. He wanted this Israelite vineyard. All right. So he went home, upset and everything. And his wife, put out a hit on him pretty much on the board. And he ended up getting the land, King Ahab. So he had judgment coming toward him that was prophesied from Elijah, the prophet from the Lord, because it kindled the anger in the Lord, All right, this man was put to death because he was coveting, and that's why it's not good to covet. That's one of the commandments: thou shalt not covet. Okay, because this is what comes out of it when you start coveting. You start having an evil eye towards your brethren. You see, and then this chapter here, verse 20, chapter 22 in First Kings. All right, so this is going into Ahab want to war against Salakia. King Ahab, he wanted to war against Ramoth Gilead, okay? And he wanted to know, should he do it or not? So he was going into his prophets, all right? And asking them, his prophets, should he go into that land, all right? I mean, should he go and have battle with Ramoth Gilead, okay? So, long story short, so he had to inquire from a prophet, right? And Jehoshaphat said there was a prophet, Micaiah, who he knew. And this prophet here, Micaiah, all right, came and to give the word of the Lord, all right. And Jehoshaphat, he was kind of, afraid, because he always, when he, had an encounter with Micaiah, the prophet of the Lord, Micaiah always had bad news, okay. Salaki.